It was a damp Tuesday morning in Surrey. The early rain had left the pavement slick and shining beneath the muted light, and the air inside the Carter home was thick with the scent of fresh tea. David Carter sat at the small oak kitchen table, his second cup steaming beside a plate of toast gone cold. The BBC Radio 2 breakfast program played faintly in the corner, a gentle murmur against the ticking of the wall clock. In front of him lay a white envelope, perfectly placed beside his mug. His name was written across it in the neat, looping handwriting of his wife, Claire. 12 years of marriage had made that handwriting as familiar to him as the sound of her voice. For a long moment, he simply stared at it. Claire was not in the habit of leaving letters. If something needed to be said, it was said in person, often without hesitation. The deliberate neatness of the envelope's placement felt almost ceremonial, and that formality unsettled him. The paper inside was folded crisply, the words concise but heavy. Claire's message was brief. She had left. 12 years together had, in her view, reduced her to a ghost in her own home. The warmth had gone, she claimed. Her new companion, a man named Oliver, made her feel alive again. She would not be coming back, nor would she entertain contact. The words carried no hesitation, no plea for understanding. The decision was final. David's expression remained unreadable as he read the letter again. Outside, a delivery van passed, tires hissing along the wet road. His tea sat untouched. The letter was placed neatly back on the table, and the house returned to its quiet rhythm. Instead of reacting with raised voice or shattered crockery, David rose, left the kitchen, and walked to the spare room. The desk drawer yielded a fresh sheet of paper. The pen in his hand moved slowly, deliberately. The reply he wrote was calm and measured. It acknowledged her choice without protest. The words noted small observations: the new floral perfume that appeared only on Thursday evenings, the late nights with friends that had become increasingly frequent, the message from Oliver glimpsed on her phone weeks earlier. It recorded how compliments had been met with dismissive glances until they had ceased altogether. It described the hours and years spent building the life she had once claimed to want. The long days on construction sites, the opportunities turned down to remain in Surrey, the savings set aside for a surprise anniversary trip to Edinburgh, complete with a room booked at the Balmoral. There was no request for reconsideration, only a clear statement that the divorce papers would be prepared and that the anniversary trip, now unused, might serve her and Oliver instead. The tone was neither cruel nor pleading. It was simply final. The letter was folded with precision, placed inside the same envelope she had used, and set upon her pillow. That evening, David's phone lit up with a message from Claire. "I didn't know." The screen dimmed without a response. Weeks passed. Christmas lights appeared along the high street, and the Carter house changed hands. David left quietly, his belongings packed and gone before the year's end. 3 months later, Claire returned. The suitcase in her hand was lighter than the one she had taken. The optimism in her eyes had vanished. Oliver had left her after 5 weeks, claiming the timing was wrong. Friends who had once shared glasses of wine and whispered encouragement had since drifted away. She stood before the familiar front door, rehearsing a greeting in her mind. When it opened, a young woman smiled in polite confusion. "You must be the previous owner," the woman said warmly. "David moved out just before Christmas. Lovely man, always had a smile." Claire managed a nod. The wind cut through her coat, and the sound of laughter from inside the house stung more than the cold. The door closed gently, leaving her alone on the doorstep. Some doors once closed, never opened again.